Hi everyone, I'm Jessica with Mother Earth News, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a lavender hot chocolate. So as the days get a little bit chillier, you might find yourself gravitating towards some warmer drinks. And I know for me, two of my favorite things to drink during the fall and winter are hot herbal teas and hot chocolate. So why not combine the two? Today I'm going to show you a really simple recipe that you can make at home to make a hot chocolate that is low sugar, really rich tasting, and has a really nice fresh ending with those lavender notes. So let's get started. To start, here are the equipment and ingredients you'll need for your lavender hot chocolate. First of all, I have this small to medium-sized pot. You might want one with a spout on the end so that you can easily pour the liquid out of it. But if you don't have it, that's also fine too, and any pot will do. You'll also want a whisk for stirring, as well as a few measuring cups and spoons. You can also have a strainer on hand to strain the herbs from. I just have this medium-sized one. And finally, you'll want something to hold your hot chocolate at certain points during the recipe. So for that, I just have this measuring glass from my French press, but you can also use a large mug or a bowl. And then in terms of ingredients, you'll want some sort of milk or non-dairy milk option. I have almond milk here. It tends to separate sometimes in hot beverages, so I think preferably whole milk is best, but any non-dairy substitute should also work pretty well. You'll also want some dried culinary lavender. I have some in a jar here, as well as some cocoa powder and vanilla extract. And finally, if you want to sweeten your drink, you can grab a sweetener of choice. I have some maple syrup here that I just drizzle in at the end. So that is everything that you'll need for your lavender hot chocolate. So now let's begin making it. The first thing that you'll want to do is boil 2 cups of your milk of choice in your pot. So I'm gonna pour in some unsweetened vanilla almond milk into the pot. This is 2 cups, which means it is going to be about 2 servings of hot chocolate. But if you want to drink more and drink the whole thing in one sitting, that's also fine. So I'm going to keep this pot uncovered and put it on medium-high heat and get it boiling. Make sure you keep a close eye on your pot because the milk could boil over pretty quickly. So I'm going to get this boiling and then we'll move on to our next step. All right, so my milk, I just caught it, started boiling over. So I'm going to set it aside on a burner that's not hot and turn off my heat on the other one. And next I'm going to add my dried lavender to the pot. And that's going to be 1.5 tablespoons of the dried lavender. I'm going to pour that into my pot. Next, I'm just going to mix in the lavender with the milk. And once that's mixed in pretty well, I'm going to cover the pot and let that steep off the heat for about 10 minutes so that the lavender can infuse with the milk. All right, so now our herbs have been steeping for about 10 minutes now. And next, I'm going to strain them out from the milk. And I'm going to use that measuring glass that I had as well as the strainer. So this is where it helps to have that spout on your pot, but again, it is possible to do it without it. So I'm going to pour this in and strain out the lavender. And I'll also press on the herbs a little bit just to squeeze out that remaining milk. If you were to taste your milk at this point, you'll get a pretty strong dose of lavender, probably almost on the bitter side. But once it's paired with the cocoa and everything, it's gonna have a really nice taste. So I'm gonna put these herbs aside since I'm done with them. And I'm gonna rinse out my pot to get the rest of the herbs off it. And then I'm gonna add this milk back into the pot to put in the last few ingredients. Okay, now that I've washed my pot out and gotten the rest of the herbs out of there, I'm gonna add the milk back into the pot. And I'm just gonna put this back on medium on the burner. The milk is still pretty hot, but just in case it gets a little cool as I'm mixing in the ingredients, I'm just gonna have it on medium just to keep it warmed up. So I'll put this aside, and now it's time to whisk in the last few ingredients. So first I'm gonna take 1.5 tablespoons of cocoa powder and add it into the milk. And with stuff like the cocoa powder, you can put in as much or as little as you like. Some people like a more mild taste and others like it to be a little bit more robust. 1.5 tablespoons is gonna give you a pretty cocoa flavor to your drink. So if you want a little bit less, maybe 1 tablespoon works for you. And then I'm gonna add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I have a 1/2 teaspoon measure right here, so I'll do 2 of them. There we go. I'm gonna mix it next just to get the cocoa powder dissolved in the milk. And the final ingredient we're gonna add is our sweetener. And again, you can use whatever sweetener is best for you, whatever you have on hand, what you like. I have some maple syrup, and I don't add a ton to the sweetener because I like more of that cocoa robust, slightly bitter, but I wouldn't really call it bitter flavor coming through. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of the edge off with a little bit of sweetener. And now I'm gonna whisk it one more time to get it all mixed in. And if you want to make your hot chocolate a little bit hotter, of course, keep it on the burner for a little bit longer. But I'd say this is pretty good. So I'm gonna put it back into this measuring cup for serving sake once it's off the heat, and then we will put it into our mugs. Now that my hot chocolate is warmed up to the way I like it, I'm gonna add it back into my French press measuring glass just to make it easier to pour into my mug. And then I'm just gonna pour about half of it in here to drink and save the rest for later. So again, this is gonna give you a pretty strong, rich, velvety feeling hot chocolate. And when you taste it, you'll probably get those notes of lavender, especially towards the end. I think it adds a really nice taste to the hot chocolate. And again, this is a low sugar method. If you want to add more sweetener, you can, but if you're trying to stay away from added sweeteners, I think this is a really nice alternative to more of the high sugar hot chocolates that are out there. And again, this is going to be about 2 servings. And the way I developed this recipe was through inspiration from a couple articles on Mother Earth Living's website. So we'll add those articles in the comments if you want to explore those particular recipes and try those out. So I hope you enjoy your lavender hot chocolate, especially during these chillier months. And of course, if you make it, let me know what you think of it. So I hope you all have a great fall and winter and stay warm. Thanks, everyone.